Hey Texas voters, welcome to part 10 of the series where we're covering the 17 state constitutional amendments up for our vote this November. We're getting there, y'all. We're making progress. Don't forget to like, comment, and share all of these videos. That way more Texans have a chance to be engaged if they want to be. It really does take a village. Alright, so I'm going to read you the plain language of Proposition 10. We'll go over the overview and then I'll give you just a little bit more information. Look at that, another homestead exemption. Texas Proposition 10, Property Tax Exemption for Improvements to Homestead Destroyed by Fire Amendment. The Texas Homestead Exemption for Improvements Made to Residents Destroyed by Fire Amendment is on the ballot in Texas as a legislatively referred constitutional amendment on November 4th, 2025. A yes vote supports amending the state constitution to authorize the state legislature to provide a temporary homestead exemption for improvements made to residences destroyed by fire. A no vote opposes amending the state constitution to authorize the state legislature to provide a temporary homestead exemption for improvements made to residences destroyed by fire. What would Proposition 10 do? Prop 10 would amend Section 1B of Article 8 of the state constitution to authorize the Texas state legislature to provide through state law a temporary property tax exemption on the appraised value of an improvement made to a person's residence homestead that is completely destroyed by a fire. The amendment would authorize the state legislature to provide for the length of the exemption and any additional eligibility requirements. The state legislature passed Senate Bill 467, the implementing legislation for the amendment, during the 2025 legislative session. It would take effect if Prop 10 is approved. It would take effect. Another short section from the overview. How do property tax exemptions on homesteads work in Texas? A homestead property tax exemption reduces the taxable value of a residence. State law defines residence homestead as a structure, including a mobile home, or a separately secured and occupied portion of a structure. Any land the structure is on, not to exceed 20 acres, and improvements used in the residential occupancy of the structure, if the structure and the land are owned by the same person. One of the supporting groups left a quote that I believe is a little misleading, but it could be just me. Let me know what you think. But it was the Texas Policy Research said, Proposition 10 upholds individual liberty and private property rights by ensuring homeowners are not taxed on homes that no longer exist. Now here's the thing, right? Because when I read the proposition, that's not how it was explained. So I'm going to read part of the proposition again to try to illustrate how I'm personally not connecting the dots, and again, maybe I'm wrong. To authorize the Texas state legislature to provide through state law a temporary property tax exemption on the appraised value of an improvement made to a person's residence homestead that is completely destroyed by a fire. So the proposition is stating an exemption on the appraised value of the improvement that was made in order to repair the home, but then those who are supporting it are saying to reduce taxes on a house that no longer exists. So it's kind of like, that's not adding up to me, at least. Here's the thing though, right? They have other tools in the toolbox rather than just another homestead exemption. For example, they could offer low-interest loans for rebuilding and establishing disaster relief programs. And there's more ways to help, like prioritizing the permits that it would take to rebuild those homes, waiving the fees of those permits. They can also do temporary housing support. They can partner with local agencies and nonprofits to provide temporary housing solutions, such as emergency shelter vouchers, or assist with housing expenses while homes are being rebuilt. And typically speaking, homeowners insurance covers fire damage. Now, there is a problem with how many homes in Texas don't have home insurance, right? There's about 1.1 million homeowners in Texas who weren't insured in the year 2022, and that's about 9.5% of the homes that are owned. Also, if these fires were to occur and the federal government declared it a national emergency, they would also get, well, maybe not these days, but they would also be qualified for federal funding. And I'm not saying that every homestead owner would go out and do this, that would be silly, but let's say that we have homestead owners who also have homeowners insurance and their house burns down. So their insurance is covering that, but also they get a tax exemption, so they just get to pay less money just because. I mean, for me, it just feels like an extra protection for the few and essentially just kind of telling the rest to like get lost. If your home burns down, like, oh well, right? If you didn't apply for a homestead or have a homestead, oh well, it is what it is for you. You're going to keep paying those taxes. And I get it. It sucks to lose things. But especially in this state and others like it, we are constantly lectured about personal responsibility. And again, I feel like I've said this a lot already, but there's a lot of these. There is no state property tax. That ended in 1982. So this again would be pulling money away from the local communities, the cities, the municipals, the school districts. Again, I just think that there are other and better ways to help alleviate the burden that homestead owners could face when they experience this, other than punishing those local communities. And also, like I said in a previous video, you just have to be aware of the totality of having all of these homestead exemptions stacked onto each other. I wonder how many more homestead exemptions are left out of the 7 propositions that we still have to go. I guess we'll find out. Alright, I'd love to hear your feedback, so drop that in the comments. And don't forget to like and repost this video, that way more Texans can get involved.